Hi, boys and girls. I have a book to read to you today that I know you are going to enjoy because it is a lot like the book that you heard yesterday, The Three Little Pigs, but this version is told in the point of view of the big bad wolf. So we're going to find out why he thinks everything happened the way that it did, and we're going to see if this book has anything that's the same or anything that's different from the one that you heard yesterday. Are you ready? Okay. This book is called The True Story of the Three Little Pigs by A. Wolfe, and it was told by John Cienska and illustrated by Lane Smith. All right, so let's see what the big bad wolf has to say about everything. The true story of the Three Little Pigs. To Jerry and Molly. Everybody knows the story of the Three Little Pigs, or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story because nobody has ever heard my side of the story. Who is talking right now? The big bad wolf. He's saying that the story that you all hear is not the true story. Let's see what his story is. I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. I don't know how this whole big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think you were big and bad too. But like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. A sneeze and a cup of sugar. Way back in Once Upon a Time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold. I ran out of sugar. Look, there he is. You can even see he's shaking his sugar upside down to show you he is all out. And well, what does he need sugar for? To make his granny's birthday cake. Is that a little bit different than the other one that you guys heard? I think so. I definitely didn't know that the big bad wolf was making a birthday cake. So I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar. And this neighbor was a pig. And he wasn't too bright either. What does that mean? He wasn't too smart either. He had built his whole house out of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, who in his right mind would build a house out of straw? That doesn't seem like a very smart thing to do. I wonder what's going to happen to his house. What happened in the other Three Little Pigs? He blew their house down. Do you think that might happen in this book? So, of course, the minute I knocked, doot, 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 on the door, it fell right in. I didn't want to just walk into someone else's house, so I called, little pig, are you in? No answer. I was just about to go home without the cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. That's when my nose started to itch. I felt a sneeze coming on. Well, I huffed and I snuffed. And what do you think happened? Achoo! And I had a great big sneeze. What do you think that sneeze did? And you know what? That whole straw house fell down. And right in the middle of the pile of straw was the first little pig, dead as a doornail. He had been home the whole time. It seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner lying there in the straw, so I ate it up. Think of it as a big cheeseburger just lying there. So did he try to hurt the pig? He's saying no, he's saying it was an accident. Do you think it was an accident? I was feeling a little better, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar. So I went to the next neighbor's house. Who do you think the next neighbor could be? The second pig. The neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little bit smarter, but not much. He had built his house of sticks. I rang the bell on the stick house and nobody answered. I called, "Mr. Pig, are you in?" He yelled back, "Go away, Wolf. You can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin chin." I had just grabbed the doorknob when I felt another sneeze coming on. Well, I huffed and I snuffed and I tried to cover my mouth, but I sneezed a great sneeze. Can you sneeze with me? Choo! And you're not going to believe it, but this guy's house fell just like his brother's. When the dust cleared, there was the second little pig, dead as a doornail. Wolf's honor. Now, you know food will spoil if you leave it out in the open, so I did the only thing there was to do. I had dinner again. Think of it as a second helping. Well, I was getting awfully full, but my cold was feeling a little better, and I still didn't have that cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. So I went to the next house. This guy was the first and second little pig's brother. He must have been the brains of the family. He had built his house of bricks. I knocked on the brick house. No answer. I called, "Mr. Pig, are you in?" And do you know what that rude little porker answered? "Get out of here, Wolf. Don't bother me again." What do you think's going to happen now? Talk about impolite. He probably had a whole sack full of sugar, and he wouldn't give me even one little cup for my dear old granny's birthday cake. What a pig! I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of a cake when I felt my cold coming on. What do you think he's going to do? I huffed and I snuffed and I sneezed once again. Choo! Then the third little pig yelled, "And your old granny can sit on a pin." Whoa, do you think that the big bad wolf's gonna like that? Saying not nice stuff about Granny. Woo! Now, I am usually a pretty calm fellow, but when somebody talks about my granny like that, I go a little crazy. When the cops drove up, of course I was trying to break down this pig's door. And the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a really big scene. It probably doesn't look very good for the big bad wolf, does it? Mr. Alexander. The rest, as they say, is history. And look, there's a magazine article and it says Big Bad Wolf. And there he is, huffing and snuffing, as they say. The news reporters found out about the two pigs I had for dinner. They figured a sick guy going to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting. So they jazzed up the story with all of that huff and puff and blow your house down. And they made me the big bad wolf. That's it. That's the real story. I was framed. Well, he still ate the little pigs. Do you think he was framed? What do you friends think? Framed means that he didn't really do anything wrong. But maybe you could loan me a cup of sugar. Take a look at him right now. I wonder where he is at the end of this book. I think that's a little bit different than our other book. I bet you noticed that in this book, there were so many things that were the same and that were different than the version that we heard yesterday, which was the original, The Three Little Pigs. I'd like you to answer this question for me. You got those listening ears ready? Show me those ears. What were some things that were the same or different in both of these books? This book and The Three Little Pigs that you just read. Maybe one thing that was the same, one thing that was different. I wonder if you can think of one thing that was the same and one thing that was different. If you can think of more, go ahead and tell me more. That is wonderful. But I would like you to do your best to think of one thing that's the same and one thing that is different. All right, guys, I think you are ready to rock this. I hope that you enjoyed this one. I think it's really fun, and it is so cool to hear stories in the perspective of other characters. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you later. Bye.